hucksters, fraudsters, scam artists, Ponzi schemes, the public being left in line at the bankruptcy courts. We've seen this story before.
Hey, what's going on, bull runners? Welcome back to the channel. Imagine this. You're sitting on the edge of your seat waiting for a massive decision that could shake up the entire crypto market. Your portfolio's future might hinge on what happens in 9 days. But here's the thing. While the crypto world is buzzing with excitement, there's a hidden storm brewing in the traditional markets that could change everything. And what if I told you that one of the biggest players in crypto just laughed off a $500 billion valuation? Sounds wild, right? Today, we're diving into some massive stories that could make or break your crypto game. The SEC's decision on the Franklin Templeton Spot XRP ETF is just days away. Jamie Dimon's dropping bombs about the bond market crash, and Tether CEO is shrugging off a jaw-dropping IPO valuation. And these aren't just headlines, they're signals of where money is moving. So stick with me for the next few minutes and I'll break it all down for you in simple terms so you know exactly what to watch for. Plus, here's the kicker. Stick with me until the end. I'm going to hook you up with a free sneak peek at Altcoin Pro University, our crypto education platform that can take your crypto knowledge and your crypto portfolio to the next level. Plus, we'll be heading over to X to find out all the breaking news happening in the financial markets right now. We'll take a look at Forex Factory so you know what important news is coming out in the financial markets this upcoming week. And we'll jump into the XRP charts and find out the next support and resistance levels to keep in mind. Plus, we'll be looking at our long-term and short-term momentum waves. And if you're like most people where you don't have the opportunity to spend hours a day in the crypto news like we do for you here on this channel, make sure you subscribe today. You are a genius for being here. And if you feel bullish about this current bull run, let me know by commenting 777 down below. And first things first, let's head over to CoinMarketCap and check out the overall health of the crypto market today. So we are coming in at $3.31 trillion. We are rebounding from that pullback that we just experienced. We're up 0.34%. And taking a look at the 30-day chart of the total market cap, we see we had that dip all the way down to 3.14 trillion, creating a new lower low on the 30-day scale. We also only had $90 billion worth of trading in the last 24 hours. But when we zoom out on the yearly, that $3.17 trillion dip was nothing at all because we didn't break below this level right here. So the great news is, as we continue to pump to the upside, this will come in as our new higher low in the market structure. As you remember, we bottomed out all the way back here on April 8th, made the move to the upside, continued making our move, peaking out May 22nd at 3.5 trillion, having this pullback now, creating a new higher low. So the market is looking healthy. Fear and greed index still coming in at neutral at 55. Yesterday was a 55. Last week a 57. Last month when we were pumping a little more aggressively, we were at 70. Altcoin season starting to climb a little bit. We're 29 out of 100. We're still in the neutral level here. Last week we were full on Bitcoin season. However, Bitcoin dominance still holding extremely strong, 63.7%. The new Bitcoin ETF numbers will be out tomorrow. Last week finished June 5th to the downside, out 47 million outflow. So as you take a look at the trend here, we were pumping to the upside. Then we started having outflows in the Bitcoin ETF. These massive institutions taking some profit for their clients, selling those. When we zoom out to the 1-year chart, we can see 2 weeks in a row now to the downside. 2 weeks ago, 71 million. Last week, 131 million. We will keep a very close eye on this week. We definitely need a recovery to the upside to continue the momentum in the markets. A lot of people are calling the market is over. We have double topped. It's about to crash. But we'll look at the actual charts here at the end of this video. Heading over to Forex Factory, what to look for on Monday. There will be no news. It's important. Tuesday, no major news either. But on Wednesday, we will have our core CPI numbers coming out. CPI measures the change in the price of goods and services purchased by consumers, excluding food and energy. So Wednesday will be a big day. Then on Thursday, the big day that we really continue to watch out for every Thursday is the unemployment claims. If we get good numbers for unemployment claims, Bitcoin tends to rally strong. If it's a bad number, we tend to fall hard. And then Friday, we do also have the consumer sentiment and inflation expectations. Heading over to X to find out all the breaking news. Throwback on June 8th of 2023, Gensler called crypto a 1920s market full of fraudsters and Ponzi's, as you saw in the intro of the video, 2 years later, though, the crypto market has fully on grown from 1.1 trillion to $3.4 trillion total market cap. So if anyone was a fraudster, it was Gary Gensler, as we all know. Also, massive news, $1.5 trillion Deutsche Bank is considering issue its own crypto stablecoin. What you're starting to notice, major corporations and major banks are wanting to launch their own stablecoin. Now, if you remember, they were only wanting to launch countrywide stablecoins for a long time. It was called central bank digital currencies, CBDC. So the country and the central bank of the country would have total absolute control over it. Well, the great thing is in the United States, stablecoins have come so far, grown so fast that we don't need a CBDC, but some of these other countries do want that. And that's what Deutsche Bank is talking about for Germany here, is they want to issue their own stablecoin. Now, Deutsche Bank being an independent bank over there, but essentially would be a CBDC. The reality is they should just adopt Tether, or they should adopt Circle, or they should adopt RLUSD and use it on an open playing field. And this is going to be the most exciting thing. As you guys know, I continue to track the ETFs for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. We did a good part of that here at the beginning of the video. Well, SEC's decision on Franklin Templeton's spot XRP ETF is officially set for this Thursday, June 17th. This is a massive, massive piece of news for XRP. If we can get this, and the reason it's important is because it's the spot. So a lot of these other ETPs and ETFs that have come out have been on leverage trading capabilities. So it's really like a synthetic version of XRP. This is spot. So when Franklin Templeton's clients decide to buy $1 million worth of XRP, they will then go into the market and buy $1 million worth of XRP, creating that extreme volume explosion that we've all been waiting for. And as you all know, as speaking of XRP and the XRP ledger, the real token is now live as of June 7th at 12 p.m. Eastern time. The real token is officially live and available across all XRP ledger exchanges. This is going to allow tons and tons more liquidity to come into the XRP ledger as well. And as you guys might remember, Brad Garlinghouse said Bitcoin will reach 200,000 by the end of the year, but XRP will surpass it due to $654 trillion of influx onto the XRP ledger. Now, that was actually before the end of 2024, but going forward, a lot of people are calling for a $200,000 Bitcoin this year, and XRP, massive influx into the total market cap, surging the XRP price.
What is your price target for Bitcoin? Because Cardano blockchain founder predicted, as I said earlier, 250,000 by year end.
You know, I will predict Bitcoin. I wouldn't predict XRP. It's too close to home. But I think 200,000 is not unreasonable. I think before I've kind of said, 175 around there. I think people underestimate how the largest economy in the world, the United States, went from headwinds, hostility, to tailwinds. And
what is your price target?
So Brad, not wanting to speak on the XRP price, but let me know your suggestions down below. Before the end of 2025, where do you see XRP price? And if you've been paying attention to XRP long enough, you've been hearing about this multiplier, right? The total market cap multiplier. Well, XRP went from $2.17 to $2.28 on $17 million of net inflows. Who wants to do the math on that multiplier? Well, Zach Rector did it. Also a great influencer when it comes to XRP. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
All right, folks, this didn't take long. XRP inflow starting to pick back up after yesterday. President Trump and Elon Musk have their little tiff, their little feud, right? XRP dropped down to 206, pushing back up towards 220 this morning. We saw the market cap grow with the full supply by over 10 billion. I want to give a shout out to Chad Steingraber for grabbing this data for us. Only 18.6 million of inflows equated to our market cap growing by over 10 billion. So you take that 10 billion, you divide it by 18.6 million, it gives us a 537x market cap multiplier, demonstrating once again that it takes very little in inflows to push XRP a lot higher. So this is why I titled my video yesterday, XRP Launchpad Set. Anytime we go back towards $2, I think that new folks are going to be kicking themselves for not scooping up that bag before we make our next leg higher. Full update's going to be dropping on my
So that's why I get excited about going back to this Franklin Templeton spot XRP ETF. The reality is we could see $8 billion worth of flows into XRP ETF this year alone. So just imagine the multiplier of that. And as you know, I like to follow the traditional markets for you guys as well on this segment. And if you're getting value out of this, please make sure you subscribe. You may never see this channel again if you don't. Jamie Dimon says, you're going to see a crack in the bond markets and it's going to happen. I'm telling you it's going to happen and you're going to panic. I'm not going to panic. So just so you know, these major players in the financial institutions are preparing for massive, massive situations.
You know, these are very large numbers. You've seen it a little bit. You know, you had the crack in the bond market in COVID a little bit. You know, the government did the right stuff, then they massively overdid both spending and QE. We borrowed and spent $10 trillion from 2020 to today. Okay, that, and you heard the numbers before. We also bought 4 trillion of your securities on top of the 4 trillion we bought in the first go round. Those numbers are true globally, not quite as big as ours, but the QE of us was 8 trillion. The QE of the rest of the world was another 8 trillion or something like that. You're talking about huge sums of money. We don't really know the full effect of that. And, you know, the bond dealers, which Gary mentioned, you know, inventories are much smaller than they used to be, partially because of rules and regulations. And you are going to see a crack in the bond market. Okay? It is going to happen. And I tell this to my regulators, some of who are in this room, I'm telling you it's going to happen, and you're going to panic. I'm not going to panic. We'll be fine. We'll probably make more money. And then some of my friends will tell me that we like crises because it's good for JP Morgan Chase. Not really. I tell people when Credit Suisse went bankrupt at the First Republic, it was terrible for the banking industry. I think we can make everything better, including that, by just changing and modifying certain rules and regulations.
So what does the bond market matter for you, the crypto enthusiast? Well, a bond market crash could push investors towards safer assets or even crypto as a hedge against traditional market chaos. You know, Dimon's been skeptical of crypto, calling Bitcoin a Ponzi scheme, yet JP Morgan's now accepting crypto ETFs as loan collateral. And this mixed signals shows even traditional finance giants are warming to crypto as markets get shaky. If bonds tank, expect more money flowing into Bitcoin, XRP, and other tokens. So could this bond market crack be the push that crypto needs to go mainstream? Hit the like button if you think crypto's about to shine. And an interesting post, because we've been talking about this so much about Donald Trump and Jerome Pal. They do have a feud. Someone in the comment section in one of my last videos was like, they don't have a feud. You're an idiot. You know nothing about the markets, blah, blah, blah. They absolutely do have a feud. When Trump got elected, he said he was going to fire Jerome Pal. Jerome Pal then goes on live TV and says, it's illegal to fire me, blah, blah, blah. Well, check a look at this. Yes, President Donald Trump stated on Friday, June 6th, that a decision on the next Federal Reserve chair will be announced very soon. He indicated that he has a pretty good idea of whom the nominee will be, but not specific name was provided. Now, a lot of people are speculating that Jerome Pal will be gone. And this scenario is based on Trump's prior criticism of Powell, including May 2025, when the Supreme Court ruling allowing some dismissals, but leaving Powell's job security unclear due to the Fed's unique structure. So what that means is, because the Federal Reserve is not a federal agency, it's just a private bank. If you want to do some deep dives into that, take a look at that. In fact, talking about this always gets my video views diminished, which is absolutely strange, but it does happen. But the reality is Trump may have a issue with firing him because he's not actually part of the Federal Reserve or federal government, sorry. But the thing is, the actual uproar of the community of the traditional finance markets, this unsettling of the markets may push Powell out. He may just have to resign on his own. Now, speculations about nominees are like Elon Musk or Judy Shelton, supported by her 2020 NPR profile advocating disruptive Fed policies, reflects public intrigue. Though no actual evidence confirms Trump's choice yet, with Powell's term extending into May of 2026 unless legally challenged. Do you think Powell makes it all the way to May 2026? Let me know down in the comments. And Tether CEO is snubbing IPO, says that $515 billion valuation is a bit bearish. Yes, you read that right. $500 billion is not a high enough value for the Tether company. Now, Tether CEO recently called the rumors of the 550 valuation a bit bearish. And that's right. The company behind the world's biggest stablecoin, USDT, thinks it's worth more than $500 billion. Tether's not pursuing an IPO yet, but that is a bold statement that's grabbing headlines everywhere. And Tether's USDT is the backbone of crypto trading right now, used in billions of transactions daily. A valuation that high shows critical stablecoins are to the crypto ecosystem. If Tether's worth more than companies like Apple or Microsoft, it signals massive confidence in crypto's future. But it also raises some questions about regulatory stability. Since Tether's been under scrutiny for its reserves, this could definitely start debates about stablecoins' role in finance, especially as institutional interest grows. So what's your take on Tether's massive valuation? Smash the subscribe button and let me know in the comment section if you think stablecoins are the future or a regulatory headache waiting to happen. All right, here's the exclusive that I promised you. You've stuck with me all the way till this point. We've got Altcoin Pro University. You can click the link down in the description to join it. We're going into the altcoin picks section of this. We're going to be talking about the state of the market and altcoins, Bitcoin ranging, liquidity pivot ahead. So before we read through this, I just want to let you know our altcoin picks come out nonstop all week long. You can see tons of them in here. This one right here was 5 days ago, 6 days ago, 7 days ago, 14 days ago, 16 days ago. So if you're into altcoin picks, we also have airdrop picks 4 days ago, 4 days ago, 5 days ago. So if you're someone who was new to crypto and is looking for a place to call home, a community to hang out with, if you're an expert in crypto and you are into DeFi yield picks, taking your cryptos to the next level, we've got it all for you. So here's a little snippet we'll share with you today. Solana, meme coins, altcoins, projects and narratives to watch for this upcoming week's Launchcoin, massive 70% reset. Market punished it for overhype, but app developers are building again stronger value prop than Pump Fund, despite its $4 billion valuation. Then we have Mir AI, virtual humans plus real partnerships. Ava, a launchpad meta lever tied to Mirari's success, awaiting a bottom at the moment before adding. Fartcoin, listing on Coinbase. SHIB pumped off of Coinbase listing, worth building a position if it reaches 70, 80 cents. So as far as an action plan this week, use volatility as opportunity, especially political fear-based dips. Compound during uncertainty. Trim on overconfidence. Stay ahead of ETF narratives. ETH and Solana rotation could be real. And don't ignore stablecoins. Circle is not boring. It's protective capital. Also, DeFi AI on base is the most asymmetric play right now. Now, not financial advice. Do your own research. But the great thing about our program is we do the research for you and you can just verify. So if you're someone that doesn't have hours a day to spend finding and researching these coins, we have done it for you. Click the link down in the description. Get started today. All right, let's head over to the charts. Right now, we're looking at our XRP charts on the weekly charts. We're using our weekly spider lines. If you've never been here before, you can actually take the tops of all the candles on the weekly chart from the drop of 2018 and draw a ray, a tool on TradingView. It is called the ray tool. That takes 2 points. You'll select the top of a candle and pivot off of the 2021 high. And that draws a line into the future, which are spider lines that are currently active and working very, very well. So as we can see right here, we're looking at the weekly charts. Right now, price did bounce off the 30 exponential moving average last week, pushed up into our spider line here, the $2.25 spider line. We are rejecting, unfortunately, as this new candle kicks off. We are literally starting the new candle right now, 6 days, 23 hours. But we are unfortunately bouncing off, rejecting the 10 exponential moving average. So right now is very important for XRP. We need a surge to the upside over the next 24 to 48 hours in this weekly candle. We very well could have a move to the downside and leave a wick to the downside like we see on almost all candles. This candle is very, very much brand new. So maybe a move to the downside before then surging above the 10 exponential moving average, which will then run us into the $2.43 resistance that we're. Hey, bull runners, are you feeling FOMO about this bull run without the right financial support? We're here to change that. We're not just about funding. We're about growing your business together. Whether you're investing in crypto, kicking off a new startup, managing your existing business, or looking to expand, we have personalized funding that meets your exact needs. Imagine starting your business or getting capital to invest $100,000 to $250,000 at 0% interest. That's not a dream. It's what we do. We've helped countless entrepreneurs entrepreneurs like you with 0% interest funding without needing personal funds, income verification, or collateral. With just a 680 credit score, you qualify. We understand that your business can't wait, so take advantage of our quick funding approach. We look beyond the credit score with inclusive approval process that sees the big picture of your business or investment potential. Our flexible repayments are tailored to match your business cycles, ensuring you can manage repayments without strain. With access to our extensive lending network of over 5,000 options, we're committed to finding the perfect match for your business or investing needs. Plus, you'll have our dedicated team by your side, guiding you through every step of the funding journey. Whether it's buying crypto, hiring new employees, or launching a new product, we're committed to your success. Click the link to connect with our expert advisors and secure your business's future now. Going to encounter again. And if you've been around long enough, that is from the week of March 17th and the rejection of March 24th. Those are our weekly candles. So we had these highs up here, crazy high wicks, which also did spark right off of one of our spider lines right there. But we had these huge wicks to the upside, but the bodies are what's important. The bodies gave us this new high. Then we had a low, then we had a new lower high. Then we had a low, then we had a new lower high. And this is the lower high, a market structure that we have not been able to break yet. We got very close and we had a really great push on the May 12th weekly candle, unfortunately failing to break that level. So these next 2 weeks, this week or next week, would be ideal to break above that. That will then push us up into our next level spider line here, which is our 254, 255 level, before we can really get a surge up back into these levels up here of $2.80, which is reality once we break this 250 level. You can see the first time we broke the level, unfortunately, we didn't have continuation. The second time we broke this level, we did have continuation or follow through all the way up to the next levels. But the last 2 times we tried to break this, we didn't have continuation. Right now, our long-term momentum wave, the Wolfpack indicator, is still bullish. Short-term momentum wave, unfortunately, is still bearish. We're down near the zero line. It is ready for a reset. And as I've been talking about for quite some time, once we do reset this level from zero, which last time we reset from zero is November 4th, we make that move to the upside. While in bullish scenario, we could see an absolute moonshot to the upside for XRP. That could start this week. Now, when we drop down to the daily charts and take a look at what's going on, unfortunately, right now, our long-term momentum is down below the zero line of the Wolfpack. So we are bearish, but it is starting to curve back to the upside. That could cross over this line in the next 24 to 48 hours to the upside, as long as we have continuation green candles. So if we have 24, 48 hour surge price to the upside, last time we broke above the zero line from going bearish into bullish right here, which April 24th, we did have a slight pullback in the price, but then the surge was 50 cents from this $2.13 all the way up to $2.63. Taking a look at the 12-hour charts to get a little down deeper, we are getting very close to breaking back into bullish territory on the 12-hour, which is nice. Last time we had a break below and an immediate return above was right here, May 7th, again, during that same push to the upside. The one thing we have to keep in mind is right now we do have a 12-hour fair value gap pushing us back down to $2.19 to fill this in before its continuation to the upside, getting to the 240 level, 243 where we'll have rejection. There is also a nice fat juicy one up here at $2.50 for a fair value gap to the upside. If we start to turn bearish again, then unfortunately coming back to that $1.90 range was a reality. We might actually do that. And that would put us back into this fair value gap range as well. As we take a look at the 4-hour charts, a little smaller time frame here, we are turning bullish again on the smaller time frames. We've also capped out though on our short-term momentum. Looks like we may be coming back down for a reset before a move to the upside. Right now, the candle is breaking back below this $2.25 range. We would love for this to hold as a support so we can bounce to the upside. So ultimately, what are we looking for? We need to hold 225 right now as a support for XRP and continue breaking above the 10 and 50 exponential moving average on the daily charts. That would continue us up into the $2.43 range where we will run into some resistance. If we fail all of this and we continue, as you can see, we are bearish market structure right now, unfortunately. However, this last daily candle did create a new bullish market structure for us. We do have a new higher high body close, but unfortunately no continuation yet. So it's really important that this candle does do a continuation for us to the upside. Otherwise, we lose the 10 exponential moving average, could be coming back to $1.90, We'll keep you updated on that. Make sure you subscribe.